I don't hear the tunes.
Oh, come on, baby.
It had the perfect transition set up too. The perfect transition. What's good, Glenn?
Hey, man, fresh about it. You already know what I'm on when I'm out
Oh,
the
fresh
shower.
out the shower, Glenn.
Energy.
Man, how you
You know
feeling
what I
today?
mean? Volume.
Volume, bro. It speak. Hold on. Let me. Speaking of volume. Oh yeah, we live.
Yeah, you good.
Oh yeah, we live, baby. We live.
Yes,
We
sir.
live. For those that don't know, we're live. Tell a friend to tell a friend as you're joining. Please make sure that you like. Y'all know we got to boost that algorithm. We got to control the algorithm in the words of our big bro Robert, making sure that we're controlling the things that come in front of us, that we bring in our lives, that we entertain, that we debate, all that good stuff. So let's get as many different perspectives in the building as possible. Like, share. Looks like the group chat is already going off. Got Critical in the building, bright and early, of course. Cheers, everyone.
What's up, Unc?
Turn that music off, man. Turn that music off, Clay.
Oh,
Colder than a witch's kitty down here in Kentucky. Yeah, I can imagine, man. That Midwest cold is different.
definitely different.
That Midwest cold is different. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out to Big Bro Steve. Let's see who else we got tapping in. Where you tapping in from? Steve said we had a good sized storm come through last night. Lots of rain and wind. It's here right now. If I turn this camera around, like I woke up earlier. Matter of fact, I wanted to check the furniture. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yep, as predicted, it's all over the place on the
Your
balcony.
shit do be flying around too,
all over the place, man. Merch trying to put the weights out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I seen that joint.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Finn. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. The Honorable Marcus Aurelius. Ooh, hold up. I like the saying, but do you think his slaves felt this way? Ooh. Critical coming in spicy on a Friday.
Abu Han, what's good, Abu Han? What's good, Unc? Good morning down there in Lando.
Grand Rising and good morning to all. Good morning, Finn. Good morning, Critical Thinking, and good morning to all around the world. We reached another Friday. Good morning, Samantha. We got Incognito in the building. Good morning, black guy in the corner. Huh?
Oh, Incognito. I've seen it a couple times this week.
Yeah, Incognito taps in. Always, man. Always. Yeah, Incognito. I don't know if you saw, we got the new black guy in the corner YouTube page. Make sure you follow that as well. Make sure you follow that.
Facts.
Abu Han. Good morning, everybody.
Goody?
It's nighttime for me, but I hope you guys are having a good morning. Life is amazing, Abu Han. Life is amazing. We got Samira in the building. Lots of wind and snow blowing in Indiana.
Oh, that's your old stomping ground.
I miss it. Every time she mentions it, I'm like,
good old Fisher.
Huh?
What part of town? What part of you was in?
I ended up downtown, right on the canal.
Okay. I never saw the downtown spot, did I?
Yeah, that was the one when I was hurt.
That was downtown.
That was downtown. You saw both spots.
Hold on. I feel like I only saw the joint where Burr was there.
So you ain't see the other spot?
I never came back.
Oh yeah. The other spot was nice.
It was
the other spot was on the water on the canal.
The water. Okay.
It was cool. It was cool, man. It was definitely cool. Samira said I drive for Uber in Indy sometimes. Yeah, man. I miss Indy, man.
Yeah.
I miss Indy. I thought that's where Maya and I would build a life.
Oh, really?
Maya was moving out there that last year. That's why I told Coach. I said, Coach, cut me now because I can't afford to be out here. I got there's just too much going on. There's too much stimulation, bro. I was overly stimulated. Now let me stop.
Boy, keep it a bean.
Huh?
Boy, trying to keep it a bean.
Yeah. No.
You see how I tried to set you up?
Oh man, hold on. Yeah, I actually got to open up a window, bro. Let me open up a window.
The weather been real tornado-ish.
Yeah, it's I kind of want to turn the camera around so y'all can see how gray it is out here. But let me see if I could do it. Damn, then I'm gonna try to get it in the same place. You can see how gray it is.
Yeah, I can see that joint. Mm-hmm.
It's gray. Of course, the camera's not in the same position.
Yeah,
I can already
we gotta
feel
go
it.
do all this shit again.
Let me open up this window a little bit, though.
How's my mic doing, y'all? I'm gonna give you a couple taps. Make sure the good mic is working for me, chat.
Yeah, you live.
Okay, bad.
Yeah, it sounds good. Oh, nah, we gotta move this over. Oh, nah. Oh, no.
Just to make another one.
So what we got going on today? All right, yo, matter of fact, we got a lot to discuss today because Tucker did his speech. So this is what we got. I got to update y'all because today was supposed to be the conversation with the historian. I got to update y'all on what happened with that. It's disappointing, but it is what it is. Then we'll update you with the Brown University shooting, and then we'll go right to AmericaFest. Ben Shapiro was at AmericaFest the same day, I believe, that Tucker spoke. And they each kind of reference each other. Ben Shapiro goes at Tucker regarding a lot of the things that we talk about on this show. He calls him, yeah, you're an anti-Semite because you had Nick Fuentes on. And then Tucker gives his speech. And I figured we can go through Tucker's speech because Tucker went on another one of his monologues. I only listened to the first few minutes, but I figured we'll get into that finishing up. So,
okay.
First and foremost, yeah. So we're supposed to have a conversation with the historian, BK and I.
You gonna keep it being, or how
you
delivering?
No. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. And of course, keep it respectful, but I'm gonna definitely tell y'all what happened. So yesterday, after we got off the show, he said that he had a couple things, that he wanted to just discuss because I sent him a list of things. Matter of fact, let's actually pull up the list. Right? Hold on. I sent him a list of things, and hold that. Y'all tell me if these topics sound crazy to y'all. Hold on. Y'all tell me. All right. So okay, so it was supposed to be on the formation of Israel, the current war, the clean break memo, Bibi Netanyahu's influence on the Iraq war, who are the true Semitic people of Jerusalem, AIPAC, and America funding Israel's military efforts. And he was saying that I don't really, want to talk about, the formation of Israel. And the conversation kept going. And I'm like, hold up, bro. Like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? And then I was challenging him on a couple things, saying like, you not wanting to talk about the foundation of Israel, you acting as if this DNA thing is not real as far as, the Jewish people there right now, not being the trace to the DNA of the actual people who were there 3,000 years ago, who I guess God is referring to when he, is discussing Abraham and being good to Abraham and then there being a land for the Israelites. So he's like, yeah, well, I would like to, I can pivot out of that, but I mainly want to focus on, and he never said what he wanted to focus on. So I'm like, bro, what else is there? Like, we're literally living through a genocide right now because people think that they have some entitlement to this land based on something that happened in the history, right. But you want to disregard the history and just kind of focus on whatever's going on now. I'm like, how can you focus on just what's going on now when the entire existence is based on a promise from thousands of years ago? And you don't want to get into that. So he started talking, and then I interrupted him actually. And I said, I said, are you trying to say that the people that occupy Israel there now, like the Europeans, I told him that. I said, the white people that occupy it right now, are you trying to tell me that that's the same lineage of the people who were there thousands of years ago? And he said, no, I'm not saying that. And I'm like, well, what are you saying? Like, if we can't have this conversation, then I can't have you on because we speak very openly on the page. And if I bring you on and I'm asking you softball questions and not being super direct, the audience is going to be able to tell. Like, I'm bringing you in. You're getting paid for this. Mm-hmm. Like a good amount of money. Like you're a student. Like you're going for your PhD. Like I'm sure you could use the money. But to think that you could add to like you're coming into a professional conversation, you're not volunteering your time. And that it was the exact same thing that when we look on the news, we see them doing. It's like you're pivoting out of the real issue. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to avoid the real issue, which gives an excuse for Israel to do exactly what they're doing now, to do what they've been doing. And the only reason why we would ever justify Israel being created by taking the actual people who were there taking their land and creating Israel. Based on the genocide that occurred in Europe. Why don't y'all create a piece of Europe that's Israel, the Jewish home state? You get what I'm saying? So we had this back and forth, and I was like, bro, definitely this is based on this conversation. I don't think that you and I should go on the live. I said maybe we could do something pre-recorded, but
what was the tone?
More not an aggressive tone at all, but more like a passive tone, like more so just like, hey, you know, I really don't want to get involved in this. And my takeaway, I actually told him, I said, bro, this reminds me of like a conversation in healthcare where doctors are using white papers to decide whether or not a particular medicine is appropriate, healthy, safe, all those things, effective, right? And what happens is the people who make the medicine, the pharmaceutical companies, those are the people who pay the doctors to create the white papers. So when you use the research based on the people who were paid to do the research by the actual people who created the medicine, obviously you're always going to walk away with not a clear understanding of what's really going on. A very biased interpretation initially, and then you have the person that's responsible for making the judgment. They're biased as well, you know what I mean, and making the decision based on biased information. So it's it was very disappointing. It was very disappointing. I can't say that it was surprising, but to see it on every level, to see it on the level of somebody in school who this is literally your area of quote unquote expertise. And for you to run away from that conversation, it was a bit unsettling, to say the least. It was a bit unsettling, to say the least, but it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. This is why we're here. This is why we're here. He even told me that he believes that the influence of AIPAC is a bit overestimated. It's overstated, because that's one of the things that I had on the list. And I'm like, wait, what, bro? I'm like, so I was like, yo, we were getting ready to have the meeting at 10:30. That's right before I hopped on with y'all. I was like, yo, we'll just have to catch up on this conversation another time. But yeah, let's definitely not do the live. And he said, like, yeah, we shouldn't do the live. And I'm just like, all right, we'll figure out something, if you can have some type of contribution in another way. But it's like, if you can't have real conversations, and I want everybody to know this, because these are the people that will eventually be on Fox News, on MSNBC, on CNN, get up there and be very good speakers and teach very well the things that they learned through their educational experience, which was probably biased. And then they're going to get up on TV, want to continue getting paid by the people that are funding the news stations. And it's just a reoccurring cycle, bro. This is the problem with the quote unquote experts. And this perhaps was a prime example of how, and I hate to always go back to this, but how the generations previously who did not have access to YouTube influencers, who did not have access to independent podcasts, who were only relying on the news to get their information, we see where this lands us. That's why it's so frustrating. Because we see, like, this is the person that's going to end up, oh, this is who our parents have been learning from this whole time. This is who our grandparents been learning from this whole time. We think that because they get some degree, they get some expertise. We know that our parents look at degrees way differently than we look at degrees. Like, they look at degrees like, oh my God. We look at degrees like almost like college is a sucker. College is for suckers, bro. You going to pay for college? You know what I mean? In a lot of ways. And I'm not saying that's the right way to look at it, but we look at it like that. Where it's like, okay, you telling me you can go get a trade, you can go do this, make more money than you're going to make after your 4-year degree, but you can make that money at 18, and you're going to be in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt.
Yeah, that's the new play. That's how
game. A lot of people are looking at it based on the value, and obviously this is not the case with every college. I feel like I'm very thankful for the value that I got from William and Mary. However, to be in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't know if I don't know if the investment matches the return. And shout out to the colleges that probably understand this and go above and beyond for a lot of their students. But overall, you telling me, like, the whole college structure,
it's tough.
It's come on, man.
It's tough to put a kid in an auditorium with 200-300 people and then charge his ass 100 bands.
Come on, bro.
That's a wild.
$100,000. Most kids don't even know what they're going for. Could I go to the bank and say, let me just get 10,000? I don't know what I need it for, but let me just get 10,000. But I can go there and say, let me get 200,000. I have no idea what I want to study. I just want to go hang out with people, you know, figure it out as I go. Oh yeah, we got you. You could sign up for that. Come on, bro.
Definitely, but I ain't gonna lie. I definitely, when you see these people carve these plans so early, boy, got the bev. You see these guys plan so early, you be like, damn, like y'all really like who's responsible for all this shit, bro? This is a fucking plan.
Yeah.
This ain't no like fly by night shit. We gonna build this parachute as we're falling out the plane shit. This shit is deep. From color to politics to education to pharma to business. I don't know if it's a plan that's keeps evolving with the same people, but this shit runs deep, boy. And if you don't look up and smell the roses, you be caught in that plan and be fucking cooked.
Like a lot of us are.
Boom.
Like if you're not a go-getter, bro. If you're not a go-getter, bro, like it's tough right now. If you're not a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough it's from a mental standpoint, all different aspects, because you're seeing things change. Like this is the point in time where there needs to be an adjustment period. College used to be the adjustment. Hey, you got to figure out a way to go to college, get that degree. That's going to set you up for the rest of life. Now there's so many things that we're adjusting on at the same time. Think about it. We're having like an awakening for how we look at education. We're having an awakening for how we look at politics. We're having an awakening for how we look at tribalism and interacting with each other, an awakening with all this diversity, equity, inclusion, an awakening with men versus women, an awakening with the LGBTQ. Like all this stuff is hitting at the same time, and people are confused. People are genuinely confused on everything that's going on in every aspect of life.
And a lot of the parents and stuff that are responsible for kind of guiding the kids at some point, they even confuse whether or not they admit it or not. You know, so it does make it super, super difficult, because it's like, if you really not one of these people, like, what's interesting, I was talking to my homegirl the other day about this shit. I was like, yo, I said, me and Dak have always been on this shit since we was like 18. Now, I didn't know that before, but you know, him coming out of prep school, I was like, we've been on this journey and this pursuit of happiness for well over 15 years. And to this day, we're just the only two left still pursuing happiness. It's like, we know people that have wanted something different or a different outcome or realized it early too, but you get to a point where you start seeing your age hit certain numbers and you start being like, man, fuck this shit. And so, but we're just the only ones still together. And that's how we've always just been able to connect and refine each other wherever we're at, because it's like the main thing has always been the main thing. And we don't give a fuck if we only have 1 year of enjoying it. We just not going to stop until we turn it into fruition. So if you're really not one of those dudes, if you're not one of those girls who just about that, like, nah, I know that ain't it, and I'd rather die trying on some 50 Cent shit. This shit, it's either the time gonna get you, the turbulence, or the things that you're gonna have to endure gonna get you, the isolation, because you're not gonna have people around you on the same type of time as you, or the parents and the insecurity of where you're at and what you're doing gonna get you. Something along the path gonna get you there. So it's like, damn, if you really not one of them people that's bucking all shit and all structure framing and, you know, all these things that kind of push us and encourage us to go certain routes, bro, your kid's gonna be cooked.
Yeah.
They not like, it's hard to believe that. And I don't blame the people for just saying, fuck this, because this route different. This doubt different. You got to be waking up really on some I'm half angry, half I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm standing on this shit. Like, there ain't no other alternative. If you don't really wake up just like on some fuck y'all, you're not going to last this shit when you start seeing figures of 30, 35, 38. Like, some boogeyman going to get you at some point in time, bro. But when you can continue to do it, it's because we wake up pissed the fuck off every time, because what we thought and what we cherished for so long wasn't it. And so now we not only pissed off because we don't have the tangible things that we thought if we followed steps A to Z would be. We also pissed the fuck off because we felt like we wasted time. I should have been what I wanted earlier, but I did what y'all. You know what? Okay, I ain't gonna blame, but that don't mean I'm gonna fucking treat this shit like it's just some walk in the park. So it's just like, and then think about that. We also think long term, like what we gonna pass down to the kids. Like and that a big thing for me on jobs is like, damn, how you supposed to pass something down to the children? Like I want my child to have an option to say whether or not they want to go corporate or start their own shit. I know what it looked like in college when certain cats was able to pull up in certain shit and go to certain places when they wanted to go. I said, damn, bro, that access is different. And I see when their parents, and we looked at a lot of those people that worked in our spaces in college, they was able to pass their kids positions, not just like entry-level jobs. Like when we think about Nolan, when we think about Tyler, when we think about like Pops was pulling these and putting them right in the role. And it's like, damn, if we don't go own the company, we got to find something similar. And this is where I felt like entrepreneurship was kind of bred, at least within me. It's just like, damn, we got so much responsibility. We got a lot of community we want to be able to get back to. It ain't going to happen if I'm gone from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So that's my reasoning for wanting to keep pursuing this. So it just, all that to just circle back and just be like, damn, bro, like the game they giving us really ain't going to give you that true freedom that you want. Like, and I'm seeing comments about money and stuff like that. That's the crazy thing. It's not the bread, bro. It's the access. It's the freedom. The money's obviously it's going to be a byproduct. I'm not saying the cliche thing like money don't matter. Like, nah, that's not a fact to me. But at the end of the day, it's the freedom. I like the freedom to be able to slide and, yo, I got it, or come on, man, or bring some friend. Like that's all. I've always liked the nurture and shit like that. So it just puts it in perspective. Like, damn, man, they even robbing people of being truly happy. Like, damn, that's a divisive plan, bro. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's I think that it gets to a point where it becomes an obligation and a responsibility for certain people to jump out there. I really do believe that, because if not, that's really how things become communist. You forget all the communist government stuff. There's a lot of people that just have a communist mindset. And it's almost like I just get up every day, I do the same thing. And for me, when I mean communist mindset, it's almost like you're selling yourself. Your goals are up here, your dreams are up here, but it's like, oh, I'll just do this because this, I could just ride this out consistently, because chasing this up here is going to be like that. It's going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody's built for that. Mm-hmm. So people sell themselves on like a communist mindset just to have this control, the same thing throughout their life. Then I'm going to retire. Then I'm going to do. And that's not bad. I want to say that's not bad, because that may be what you're built for. That may be what you're comfortable doing, or it doesn't even matter. That's what you choose to do. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for the other people that are out here taking risk, it's almost like that Overton window mindset, where it's like now you're making it okay for everybody else to do the same. It goes back to that poem. What's the poem in Coach Carter when he says, "What is your deepest fear?" If you actually go through that poem, no, it's not that you're inadequate. It's that you're powerful beyond measure. I believe that's the, I don't want to quote word for word, but that's what it is. Like, we are powerful beyond measure. Like, we have unlimited capabilities. So how can I feel comfortable? Some people allow themselves to feel comfortable with it, and that's cool. But I wouldn't feel comfortable looking at my face in the mirror every day, just doing like what everybody else is doing, just being content with not me seeking maximizing my potential, going after it. It was hard for me to go to my client's holiday party this winter.
Yeah, I was on the phone with you.
Yeah, I'm at the holiday party. I'm like, yo, we need our own. Why am I going to my client's holiday party? Why aren't we having our own holiday party like this? Why is it like my family? Why are BK we setting stuff up? Why isn't Maya doing this, Fran, and just doing the catering? Why isn't I'm literally looking around in my head, and it was no hate against them, but it's just very hard for me to see certain people who have jumped out there and taken certain risks, and to think that, like, how can I look at myself and believe that I'm confident, or how can I not allow? It's like when you don't exercise and use your confidence, it's almost like it drains. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to be confident when you're not challenging yourself to overcome certain things, obstacles, and winning by overcoming those. Other than that, you just like how are you gonna like confidence is something that has to be worked on. It's like physical health,
prove it every day.
You gotta keep to yourself first and foremost. So it's like every situation that I'm in, I'm very grateful of everything that I have in my life, and I feel like that's the best way to build and to get to the next level is to appreciate and be grateful of where I am now and to understand exactly why I'm in this position, to learn as much, to peep as much game as I can. But the goal is to get to the next. The goal is to always, it's not more, but it's just freedom. It's more, it's me being able to prove to myself that there's absolutely nothing in this world that I can't attain or reach a level. And even though I may never, ever get there, it doesn't stop me from every day trying to take one step closer to get there. Because then, you know what, just like you said with the kids, when the kids are looking up to their parents and saying like, well, shoot, if dad started here, if mom started here and got here, you know what I'm saying? I got to be able to take it here. The bar is already set. Like, you know what I mean? And that bar is not just about money, but it's in, like I said, maximizing your potential. Like if my score when I transition, my maximize my potential score, let's say I go out with an 85, let's just say, you know what I mean? We're going to make sure it's higher. But matter of fact, no, let's be realistic. If I go out with a 95 score, I need somebody else going out. I need my kids understanding, seeing that 95. And just how you ever see like these kids talk crazy to their like professional athlete parents? Like, man, you trash. Yeah, I want my kids to think that. Okay, yeah, that 95 is trash. Yeah, that's
washed up.
Hey, go ahead. Go. Let's see you do better.
Yeah, you washed up.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just the mindset. I know we rambling. I know we
got a super chat. Abu Han, my dog, Abu Han.
Free the gods.
Free Palestine, man.
Free the gods. That's what he said. Free the gods.
You already know what it is.
Abu
Han, you know what we on, man.
Hey, you know what time it is. Man.
Let these motherfuckers play with us, bro.
Oh man,
you know we're standing on. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah, the sponsors gonna love that. Hey, they gonna. I'm serious. They gonna. Yeah, we standing on all that.
So, side note, did you see the Netflix collab with podcasts now?
No.
Yes. So Netflix has taken out like a huge division and is focused primarily on collaboration with podcasts. Watching Joe Budden yesterday, they had a whole fucking series about Netflix promoting the fight between Jake Paul and Anthony.
Yeah, Cam been the front and center with all that. Cam been the person that sat them down and did the face off. Cam was at the weigh-in, doing the weigh-in. It was actually dope to see.
Yeah, so like Netflix came up during the pod and had the logo, and they were like probably on a 15-20 minute joint. And then I went and watched DJ Academics, and then that's when he was breaking down. It was like, oh, the new play, Netflix is now collabing with podcasts because they want to compete with YouTube. So what they're doing now, they're trying to give platform for people to stream straight to Netflix. Fuck a YouTube play. That's the new joint. It's a lot. It's the landscape has definitely been shifted.
Yeah. If people don't realize now, I was thinking about this the other day. Like land, of course, real estate. When you think about wealth, generating real estate, there's only a limited amount, right? Limited commodity, limited resource. So you buy up land and it's a good investment. But the other investment is if you're not out here building your influence on these social media platforms,
personal brand.
If you're not personally branding yourself, if you're not creating a network of whatever platform you're using, it could be an email, network, like an email, whatever. If you don't have a way of reaching a large amount of people to where they trust what you're saying, you know what I mean? Want to hear what you're saying, value your opinion, you're going to be in trouble in this new day and age, in my opinion. 20 years from now, of course, I'm not everybody. I'm saying, you can have a trade or a skill or whatever other job to where, you may be protected with some of the new advancements, but there's nothing that a company values more. And I think we're seeing it with a lot of these big companies changing how they advertise. putting more money into a lot of these influencers. There's nothing more important than having an audience of people that value what's coming out of your mouth, bro. That value what you're saying, bro. There's nothing more valuable to a company than that.
Yeah, that's the new 401.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, to each their own, to each their own, to each their own. All right, let's get into what did we say? We said we're going to start off with
a little Tucker, Ben Shapiro smoke.
We'll do a quick. You want to do the quick little Brown University update?
Yeah. Is that so? What did you hear about that?
There was a little bit of a twist. Well, apparently they found the guy shot dead in a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire. So obviously there's going to be a whole bunch of conspiracies around that. Was he found dead? But I believe the story is that, and we'll listen to it in more detail. But my takeaway was that they found him over there. So I guess they were getting ready to run down. Maybe he realized, and then he decided to unalive himself. But what also came out is I believe that there was an MIT professor, that there was a shooting with connection. That. Yeah, and there was some sort of connection. So we'll figure it out, or I guess we'll figure out as much as we can. But let me pull that up on the screen now.
Let's get into it.
And y'all tell us if y'all have heard anything, because we just, I looked at a few different videos, but all of them were like 15 minutes. So this was one of the shorter ones. So let's get into that.
Hey, let's get you up to speed on what's happening right now in this major breaking news. Here's what we know at this moment. The suspect in the Brown University shooting and also the shooting of an MIT professor in Brookline, Massachusetts is 48-year-old Claudio Neves Valente, a former Brown student and Portuguese national. Neves Valente was found dead by a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a Salem, New Hampshire storage unit while investigators were executing a search warrant trying to find him.
Now again, investigators say he is the suspect not only in that Brown University mass shooting, but also in the shooting of an MIT professor. They say they found on him, when they found him dead, a satchel, 2 firearms, and additional evidence matching that was what was at the crime scene. Again, he is also accused of killing that MIT professor who investigators said tonight had gone to school with the suspect.
Now, Rhode Island's Attorney General is saying a person came forward with information that, quote, blew this case right open. Somebody who had an interaction with them, and a witness had also provided a license plate to authorities probing the Brown University shooting, who then investigated that car and its past drivers. That is what allowed them to ID the same vehicle of interest in the MIT professor killing, and same vehicle they found outside the storage unit up here in New Hampshire.
Now, officials say, again, that Nieves and this MIT professor, they both went to school together in the late 1990s. The Massachusetts U.S. Attorney says that Valente had gone to the same academic program at the school at the time.
Now, you can imagine this is a developing situation. More updates will be coming throughout the evening. You can get them inside the W.
Yeah, man, it's just a dark situation, bro. Oof. Oof. And shout out to Sup today. Yeah, Hamilton Tiger Cats. I saw him write something Canadian. Yeah. But yeah, this is just a dark situation. And we were talking about it yesterday at dinner. At my mom's birthday dinner, of course, we're talking about this.
Where y'all go?
We went to Eddie V's yesterday. Well, that wasn't the birthday dinner because Just and Fran, they had to work. Yeah, they had work stuff. But we're getting ready to enjoy the weekend. But we were talking about this at dinner, and it's just that we're in a very dark place, bro. Like, we're in a very dark place in America, and I think that we got to understand that we set the tone in a lot of places around the world, like how we move. We can determine and set the standard of respect, dignity, morals. When I hear people talking about going to Japan, and I think Tucker Carlson said it in his conversation with Piers Morgan. I may have said this on the show yesterday, but he was saying how kids in Japan, they ride in the public transportation at 4 years old. Now, I don't know if that's, you know what I mean? He may be exaggerating a little bit, maybe 5 or 6 heading to school. But the point is that it's a very respectful society.
It really is.
A lot of this wild stuff doesn't happen there. They don't tolerate it. I guess kids aren't getting picked up and and never seen again, or
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shoved into the back of a minivan, all these different things. They just have a respectful culture, and it's like, why can't we have that here? Why can't we have that here? I think the majority of people want that. But I think the fear of the people that just can't control themselves for whatever reason, it just scares us all into just getting into tribalism, getting back in that tribal mode. Shout out to Bug in the building, tapping in. But it's just, we got to figure this out, man. We have to figure this out. Because if not, it's just going to continue getting darker and darker and darker. And we're just going to be sitting around like we were in 2020, waiting for the thing to arrive at our door. Who's next? Who's going to get it next? That's all we're going to be doing. Like, we got to be proactive with this on the offense.
For some reason, I thought you was going to say waiting for the rapture.
Nah. A lot of people, you thought I was going to get on the pulpit. Get on the pulpit.
The rapture. Yeah. No, I agree, man. I seen something on Twitter yesterday about, I guess, and hopefully somebody in the chat may know a little bit about monks, or maybe you, Dak, but I guess the monks are walking, and from the way I was taking it from is like the monks don't really walk for anything. They don't publicly walk in public, but there's a group of monks that is walking across the country on feet, and I mean, police escort and all that, but it was said that the monks only walk when the world is crying and the earth is crying, and that when they are walking, there's something to say about it. Don't quote me on that specifically, but I did see something along the lines of kind of what you're talking about. Like, if we don't have a shift or something like that, they were saying that these peaceful people start walking in order to bring attention and awareness to the people, and so it shouldn't be taken lightly when we do see that. So okay, you see it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so apparently it's a walk for peace. It's a 2,300-mile pilgrimage. A group of Buddhist monks from the Huang. You could read it I don't know if you could read it on the screen if it's small, but you can go ahead. That's
okay. Buddhist monks, Huang Dao Vipassana Bhavana Center in Fort Worth, Texas, are walking on a foot across the U.S. to promote peace, unity, compassion, and mindfulness. They're heading from Fort Worth to D.C. as a part of a peace pilgrimage, legitimately walking. Like, the video I saw, there was a police in the front protecting them from cars, and allegedly people were like hitting them. Like, one of the guys lost his leg, and he says, I'll take a wheelchair. And he says, I don't mind sacrificing my leg if it's for the journey of finding peace. Mindset so different, bro. I'm so beyond how they think like this. But walk alongside them for short stretches, offer support. Yeah, so people were in the comments were saying you can offer them water or food because they don't stop for anything. They just keep going and going and going. So that's the way that you could help support.
Oh, yeah, it says it right here, look.
Okay. Traffic where monks were injured, but continued the journey, bro. Walk alongside them for short stretches to show support. It's pretty dope, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you don't really see these like sacred things still, the tradition or things of that nature, etc. But this was pretty dope when I seen this on Twitter. So yeah. But it goes back to exactly what you're saying. Walking for peace, unity, things of that nature. So some off, some right, and you're not wrong for feeling that way.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get it. I'm just writing to Phyllis to tap in now. Don't wait.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna tell him the chat. But yeah, I just really hope that we can, figure. I don't want it to take like something terrible happening for like there's never going to be enough terrible things that happen to where everybody gets on board at the same time. If it takes a terrible situation happening to you personally for you to feel an impact and for you to feel that you need to take somewhat of a responsibility in righting this wrong or getting us moving back in a positive direction, it's never going to happen, bro. Like, we can't just rely on we can't only respond to things that directly impact us. That's not spiritual. That's not godly. You know what I'm saying? Like you said it before, I think last week, Where you're talking about, no, I am the kids in Chicago. I got to take responsibility for that. I got to look at them just as me. And I think a lot of us should do this, not just based on race, not just based on whatever, but based on the fact that, you know, we want to figure out how we can live in harmony together. That should be the goal, in my opinion. Let me tell Phyllis, hold up.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, but it's just wanting to take responsibility. Like you can't want to just continue to kick the can. And I saw OnQ right in the chat, like, what are we gonna do type of conversation. You know, it's, I guess, you know, more or less you were just encouraging, like, if we're just always going to talk about the problem, so how do we solve the problem? And, you know, I think awareness is very important. I think just because you've, you know, located and found your journey about exactly where the issue is, doesn't mean you know the full scope of the issue and how deep it is. So it is very important for us to not just tell people to blindly lead us because of X, Y, and Z, and this is the reason. But I also think it's our job to kind of provide some type of transparency and the full truth and allow people to go wherever they choose to go at the point in time. Because we ain't trying to lead none of y'all. We just here speaking. And it just so happened that we all seem to speak to ourselves the same. And so we want to have a community where we continue to evolve the conversation with different angles, perspective, age, socioeconomic, social economic statuses, you know, color, race, gender, whatever it is. So I think it's we're doing what we really should be seeing politicians do, to be honest with you. Sit down and have these type of conversations, and, you know, might get this or might feel this type of way, but keep driving this thing forward, because at the end of the no, I'm more concerned about how I lead this planet. I'm concerned about my brothers and my sister, regardless of color or what they believe in, as long as you stay in your lane. Okay. And what we've seen, we got to start calling people out for starting to swerve outside of their lane and impact the other people who might be on their lane. And so that's kind of what I feel like these conversations would be. But we're building that, you know. Don't just, you know, ask us. We're not teachers, bro. We here to continue to move the conversation and provide a platform. So the ideas come from this community as much as it'll come from us. And so we're putting this together, and we're putting all our tools together. We're binding together to see how that looks like. And I think this also makes us, I know this has made me a better person. It makes me feel more accountable, because I'm speaking about accountability so fucking much. I ain't got no choice to be accountable. Shit, it start raining outside, I start taking accountability. I'll be like, oh, damn, man, shit, I should have known. So I think that's important, because when you don't speak of these practices and you're no longer in these institutions that require you to take accountability, require you to be stand up, require you to be do what's morally right, you start losing it. Just like Dak said, when it comes to confidence, confidence ain't something you can hoard. It's something that constantly have to be proven from daily when you wake up. And if you don't, you lose it. And so these things, these practices, is as we see, men have lost over time, and as a society overall. So maybe you have not lost it, but there's a good chunk of men that are also responsible for children and women who have lost this. What does it look like to encourage them? Well, we have to talk about what that looks like, because maybe they didn't have somebody who showed them that. Maybe the pastor ain't doing it, maybe the dad ain't doing it, mom don't know how to do it. So where and how are we going to establish what men look like? Because men are going to have to take accountability for a lot of shit going on, man. A lot of these things ain't because of the kids or the women or the politics. It's men have a very unique opportunity where they can control a lot more if they truly feel in their heart that they can control it. When men start waving their hands up and start giving up, we start getting to dangerous places where people start extorting, people start playing with us, and that's not the type of time we on. So we got to establish that energy, let motherfuckers know, nah, you go in that politic, you go in that Oval Office and do goofy shit, we calling goofy out. And then we gonna make sure that we show you that we ain't even off none of that. You're not gonna look at us and keep lying to us. I'm not off of that. Don't lie to me, bro. My life is important. My children's life is important. My wife's life important. Like, all this is important. Why are you looking at me in the face and lying and you lacing your pockets? You wouldn't do that shit if you was in my face. Don't do that. Don't play with me if you're not in my face. So we got to bring standards back. And I want it to seem like it don't matter if I'm here, we in Indiana, we in Canada. Like, it don't matter where we at. Bad behavior and evil should be scared, because it knows a man is close by to call some shit around. That's what we looking to spread awareness in. We looking to wake up what's already in the brothers. We are looking to wake up what's already in the men. Shit, even the boys. Some of these boys gonna have to move a little faster because that's the type of direction we need. We need all hands on deck. We like you can enlist at 18. That's what we on right now. We enlisting. Yo, man, got to step up in a lot of categories so we can set the next generation up not to deal with these issues because now they're getting crazy now. So that's my little,
Yeah, nah. You spot on with everything. And it reminds me of like it's sometimes it can become, not that anybody said this, but it just made me think about it. Sometimes we can understand how negativity spreads very quickly, like how negative something negative can just spiral out of control or have that snowball effect and play a role in impacting people where we just have a bad day where it's like, oh, it started off this messed up. Then the car drove by, got me all soaked. I was pissed off. Then I got on the bus. I had to stand. And then we can understand how that negative energy compounds throughout the day and is kind of interwoven, or I should say, matter of fact, a good example of it is, remember the movie Crash with Ludacris?
Oh, yeah.
It was a movie where it was like showing how different people's lives were interwoven and different people. Yeah, we can understand from a negative impact how a lot of that stuff happens, but let's just flip it from a positive. There's different days where you just feel like you're in your zone where the people walking down the street, they're smiling at you. It changes your tone. Now you got a good mindset, or you just missed something. What I mean? Like now things are moving in a more favorable. You're having a good day. You got a positive mindset. Like our brains are conditioned to work like that. It's neuroplasticity. So I think that when it comes to a lot of this be the change stuff,
What does that mean?
So neuroplasticity, it's like our brains and like how we attract certain things that come. Let's look it up. I want to make sure that I'm not explaining it, the wrong way.
In his bag. You're in your bag.
Nah, you never heard of neuroplasticity?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I'll share the screen. Well, I'll just read it on. It's the brain's ability to change, adapt, and rewire itself in response to experience, learning, behavior, and environment. So basically that your brain is not fixed. Like it adapts to what you focus on. It adapts to what type of mood you may be in, all these different things. So if you wake up grateful, hey, I'm so thankful that I get to, experience another day, really go for it. I'm looking at things with the glass half full. I'm positive. Literally, that's going to put out a certain energy. It's all just energy, in my opinion. It's all just energy. So when we look at the world as energy, our goal should be to put out as much positive energy as possible in whatever interactions we have throughout the day, in whatever way, because that's the only way to combat, in my opinion, evil, demonic energy. We just got to make sure we're matching that and winning. You get to see who's winning in the world right now. I don't think positive energy is winning in the world right now. I don't think so. So it's we're just and it's not anything. We don't bring these things up to be overwhelming. Like this is why you got to have that mindset that we were talking about earlier. Like where we can achieve anything. We have maximum potential. But when we don't look at ourselves like that, then this world and the negative things that happen in this world can be very overwhelming. Like it could be overwhelming. And that's when your mental health starts to be affected. That's when you start to think less of society, maybe think less of yourself, lose confidence, lose all these different things. When we got to understand, like, no, we have unlimited capability. Thank God, right? We were born with this ability, this ability to really change and shift the world. But we just got to believe that we have it, So you want to get into the Turning Point USA convos?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start off with the quick little Ben Shapiro video, just so we can, get your thinking of like the neuroplasticity, like get your energy right, because we know when you hear Ben Shapiro, of course, you're just going to smile, think positive thoughts. So we're going to have Ben Shapiro first, then we'll have Tucker Carlson. The Ben Shapiro video is only a minute long. All right. Let me see. Is it up on the screen?
No, it's just in our
It's just on our stuff. All right, there we go.
For example, if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes.
And keep in mind, the reason why we're playing this is because it's kind of funny because he's getting up there talking about Tucker and he knows that Tucker is going to be the last speaker. So I mean, hey, I like this. I mean, at least, hey, say how you feel, bro. Say how you feel.
For example, if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes, you know, the Nick Fuentes who said that the Vice President of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet. The person who said that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, retarded idiot. The person who said, and pardon my language here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and fucked it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. If you have that person on your show and you proceed to glaze him, you ought to own it.
We need more positive energy, bro.
There is a reason that Charlie Kirk despised Nick Fuentes, and indeed even chided Dinesh D'Souza for debating him. He knew that Nick Fuentes is an evil troll, and that building him up is an act of moral imbecility. And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian.
So that's the energy that he started off with. You can't have free speech. He's upset that Tucker interviewed or whatever. It doesn't even matter. Let's get into, that was just a.
That's what glaze means, like when you just like kind of riding on it.
Yo, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because first Ben Shapiro, like, it's funny to hear how certain people speak. You know, they hear certain things that the young,
that's some young generation.
Yeah, but what's funny about it is, and I'm glad you brought it up because I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up. Before he was saying glossing, and he was using the wrong word. And Nick Fuentes was like, he was talking about Nick Fuentes like that same thing, but he used the word glossing. And Nick was like, bro, does he mean glaze? Like, yo, what is he talking like, yo, he was like, yo, does he even know what the word? Like, yo, it was just funny. Hey, stay out them young man. Let them
upgrade your bro. You better stop. Update your software, my boy. Go get a quarter there.
For real. All right, so let's move on. We'll watch
Damn. Oh, what's up, Conjure Up? It's been a while, man. Good to see you, man.
Conjure in the building. Shout out to Conjure in the building, man. I like Conjure.
My man coming out with some shit.
Thank you. Walking out is always such a trip at these things. I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when like upside down world arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for like deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what? This is hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events they always play like the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, you know, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, you know, to help, and I really felt that was important. I still think, you know, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole like Red Guard cultural revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be. But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive, well, I wonder why you're asking that question. I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul. And everyone listening should know that listening to you implicates them, and that they someday may be asked to denounce you, and that friendship is not a reason to defend someone. Love is no defense. I kind of thought we'd reached the end of that, and as far as I'm concerned, we have, and I'm not going to play by those rules. I'm not going to engage in that. If someone doesn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view.
I want to stop it here quickly because this probably was the weakest part of Charlie Kirk's argument, in my opinion. The weakest part of what Charlie Kirk represented from my standpoint was his ability to talk to anybody, it seemed like, on a college campus. You'll talk to any 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old. You'll talk to most adults, I would believe. You'll go and debate Gavin Newsom, but you wouldn't sit down with Nick Fuentes. And people can say it's for this reason or that reason. It doesn't matter. When people make those type of arguments as Nick Fuentes shouldn't be platformed, it's such a weak argument, because then it makes you question, well, who are the people that we have actually platformed? So Bibi Netanyahu should get a platform, but Nick Fuentes shouldn't. So this person should get, you know what I mean? And it should go back to, it's actually what Donald Trump said when they were trying to get him to disavow Tucker and Nick Fuentes. And he said, nah, let the conversation happen and let the people decide. Let the people decide. So when people run from conversations, to me, it comes across like you have something that you're hiding, either an agenda that you're not comfortable standing on, perhaps because your donors don't want you expressing it in a way that you would feel comfortable because you know that you're lying, or there's just something that you're trying to hide from me. But I don't understand how you can go from free speech to censorship and just base it on the fact that, well, he's saying bad stuff about something that matters to me, so therefore he shouldn't be allowed to talk, but I should be allowed to say any and everything. And facts don't care about my feelings. You know, that's Ben Shapiro's stance. But yeah, that's just wanted to point that out. You're on mute, bro. I think so. Yeah.
You know what I thought of as you said that? When you and Steve had said, man, this shit look like pro wrestling. Yeah. Mind you, Abu Han, that might be the funniest joke today. Ben Shapiro looks like the kid who told the teacher you forgot to you forgot to collect the homework.
Oh man, I missed that one.
Yo, he said he like the kid that asked the teacher you forgot to collect the homework, and everybody looking like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Like, yo, what? Like,
but that was the joke of the thing. But when Steve said it looked like pro wrestling, and I'm seeing this, et cetera, you know what it reminds? You know what this kind of looks like, bro? This looked like it does look like pro wrestling. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Has politics become the new sports arena? And you can create a following and get your bread up, and you get an audience like your Diamond Dallas Page or your Sting or whoever these people are. And politics is just the new football field or the new ring where you could go back and forth, hash it out, leverage it, and make bread through this shit. These motherfuckers that's in this shit might be running the whole play. From the people we believe that are truly behind change, they're not naive to what this shit is and what it looked like. They might be double down and looking at this as a vehicle to build personal brand and to get into the conversation of influence and secure certain money and relationships, et cetera, down the road. They're not naive to none of this shit. So it seems like politics has just become the new, like, hey, we need a new way with social media. How we gonna build our cloud? How we gonna build our how we gonna MTG this shit? How we gonna Marjorie Taylor Greene this shit? Make a little bread, get a little clout, get my following up. Like the same reason people used to jump on reality TV shows. The same. I don't know if you watch Love Is Blind. You know I love that stuff. But people hop on Love Is Blind, and then what they started realizing, people that were on the Love Is Blind show, they weren't really looking for love. They were looking to build their audience and build their clout. So then when they left, they were able to build certain partnerships and have a huge following. They just wanted the clout that come with it. So is politics the new opportunity for people to wrap yourself up and I want to help the people, but then really you ain't really got no intention to help the people? You saying ridiculous shit as possible, like Nick Fuentes. Are you really just double down and going super hard because this is a great way to build the audience? You don't care about the partnerships. Look, you just know if you call out Israel loud enough, cuss loud enough, say black loud enough, say F word loud enough, that you'll build an audience, and then fuck all that shit down the road in 5 years now. I'm up now. Fuck they gonna do? I'm up. I don't know.
Politics did not become sports. Sports became politics to the point where we're now forgetting that politics was always politics and sports was introduced to distract us from politics. So now we're at the part of the cycle where we think that, oh, politics is just becoming sports. No, we're just being reminded that politics was always politics.
I see what you mean.
Politics is the real game, bro. Or politics is the real war. Sports is just the game that distracts you from understanding the power war that goes on. You get what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. So politics has always been this. It's always been leveraging your whatever, like building your personal brand, but it's a power play. It's a game of power, bro. Sports, they just playing for what? Points on a scoreboard. Politics, they playing for real power, for real leverage. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. So yeah, that part of the cycle. Yeah, now it looks like sports is becoming politics, or it looks like the politics are trying to model theirs after the sports. Nah,
you see this like this 30 point what you're saying. Yeah, like it's like when did this shit become 808 beats and he coming out to some 50 Cent and shit dropping people in the crowd like like their favorite wrestler just came out. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, because entertainment, it's realizing the influence of entertainment, bro. To entertain people, to hold people's attention, you got to do all this stuff. They're appealing to a different generation of people who see things totally different. It used to be, you posted up maybe at a desk. You got it's almost like the old show like It Is or like 60 Minutes. You sit in like one of those rooms, and that was visibly appealing. But now you need other stuff. Now you can't just go up there on the pulpit. You got to have all the extra 4K video, and you got to have all that stuff. Look at like some of these church productions, bro. Mm-hmm. These mega church productions look insane.
Rolls Royces in the fucking pulpit.
Everything is just about. It says more about us, the people that they're trying to appeal to, rather than it says about them.
Like
they're just reading us. Like, yo, what are these What are these peasants like? What's
You really want? I know what you really wanted to say.
Yeah.
I would have
They
stood for it,
treating
though.
us like some.
I know what you really wanted to put on, but I'm gonna let you slide on it.
Oh man,
We got a super chat in the building. Shout out to Silver Sister 8780 supporting the show. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
I don't know about this movie, Dak. Have you seen it?
No, the movie Idiocracy.
Yeah, it's a documentary that everyone should be required to watch. Stop wearing Crocs. It's an indicator that you're an NPC.
Hold up. I'm about to sound crazy. I gotta Google something real quick.
You gonna look at the movie, or you gonna look up the Crocs?
I'm gonna look up.
And if you wear the Crocs, they tell me you gotta put the strap in the back. That's how you put it in like sport mode.
Well, I was gonna look up NPC.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I've been hearing that terminology. I think it's like some super like weird off motherfucker, but I don't know. I hear it.
Non-player character.
It's when you be seeing those kids that be like on Twitch and shit, where they just stand on the street and do this.
Nah.
Wait.
Like somebody who's just there but not really in the mix.
Yeah, like a video game, like in the middle of Times Square, just doing this, and then people will send like chats and money for them to do a move or say something, and they'll be looking at their chat and they'll be like, "Thank you for the gifted," and then they'll do like a superpower, like just some super like emo type rock out shit, back corner wearing black hoodies in the summer. Don't do his homework. The jeans are baggy. It's hot as fuck. Why you got all that black on? Type of energy type cat is what I'm seeing.
I got it. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out though. I'll check it out. Idiocracy. But first off, the wearing Crocs, that is one thing that the older generation is not off. Like my dad finds it so like probably immature and childish.
You got a pair of Crocs?
Yeah, I got Crocs, but what I'm saying, listen, right. It ain't about me right now.
But they fresh though.
The reason why I'm saying this because my dad always finds it like very strange, like if we wear those out, like you're getting ready to walk around at the mall, or you're getting ready to be in public, like those are house slippers. You get what I'm saying?
It's like the bonnet
because we wear them everywhere. But when I'm going out, if I'm going out, like let's say with Maya or my mom, I wear sneakers, bro. Like maybe with just Maya, I'll still wear if I'm feeling, comfortable, depending on the situation. But if I'm going out with like my parents to where you feel like, you
gotta be on your square.
Yeah. I'm not wearing no goofy ass.
Nah, get knocked off and that shit go flying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like have me looking crazy out here. Especially they filming everything now. You can't you get caught slipping once. You're gonna say, yo, I had on Croc. Like I feel you, bro, but you still got this video out there looking crazy. Nah.
The comments, the first thing gonna be like, why is this grown ass nigga wearing Crocs?
Yeah, bro. And now the kids, like we never wore really, I think I wore flip-flops maybe to school one time when we were taking finals or something, and I was only there for a little bit. And even that was probably goofy, especially in high school. You need to make sure you got on some sneakers.
Oh, I had shoes. College, I was.
Yeah, college, I was
wilding. But we was on campus. We was kind of straight.
Yeah, college, I'm wearing Birks. I was wearing the Birks. Matter of fact, I was wearing the Birks. I was wearing the Birks. My parents put me on the Birks before the Birks became Birkenstocks. You know what I'm saying? But
the Birks were popping when I was growing up because I grew up in like a
I ain't have Birks in Georgia.
Nah, because all the Jewish kids they was wearing Birks, American Eagle. Abercrombie, North Face. Yeah. Like I seen all that shit because I had a bunch of Jewish kids go to my school, so
I brought it into black culture. That was actually me. Yeah,
quarter zips.
Bro, I'm messing with you.
Quarter zips,
the quarter zip monsters, bro, and
Burton. So it was definitely a different play back then, but yeah, for sure. So appreciate that, Silver Sister. You done got us on a fucking tangent, man.
Appreciate you. Yeah, imagine getting KO'd in Crocs. Imagine getting knocked out in some Crocs.
Yo,
hey, you got what you deserve.
They can't even find them shits. Like you get up, you like, yo, where my Croc at?
Yeah, where my Croc? Yeah, now you looking around for you. Oh no,
that's messy. That's super messy, bro.
Yo, but it's a good point, and that's something that we've talked about, you, me, you, Corey, and I, about, you know, just a certain level of, because it's not just the Crocs from a standpoint of defending yourself, but it's from a manly standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like how are you going to protect and provide in some Crocs? Like, just overall, like, what's your uniform? You know what I'm saying? Like, what uniform are you, like, what uniform does that represent? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, we trying to get back to, like, I miss the fact that people getting dressed up, all this other stuff. That's why I try to pull up on my dad, making sure I'm dressed up while he got the athleisure, the Lulu and stuff on. And he be like, "Oh, I should have dressed up. I should have worn." Yeah, you should have. But their generation, they grew up dressing like that. I feel like outside playing around, like
regular.
Like, you know what I mean? Had on slacks and stuff playing around. But nah, we just different generations. So
yeah,
we got to get back to that though.
Are the Crocs the Crocs, and would you say the Crocs and wearing a bonnet are similar?
I could see the similarities. I'm not sure that I would. I'm trying to think like, how would I argue? Like, if I was to state like Crocs are similar to bonnets, how would I present that?
Like, they shouldn't cross your doorstep.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and maybe the same thing, maybe for different reasons. But yeah, it's too casual. You know what I mean? It's too casual, and it prevents you from presenting yourself in a way that it prevents you from playing the role that you're supposed to play. Perhaps that bonnet, it prevents you from playing the role that you're supposed to play.
Abu Han.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the bonnet
that's the
is
energy.
Work.
That's the energy I was looking for, Abu Han.
Yeah.
That didn't want to give me this shit.
Well, it's for different reasons though. The bonnet is more so like, bro, this just looks like, I don't think. Put it this way: what it comes down to is white people don't wear bonnets. The bonnets are more associated with a more ratchet type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And the Crocs are an issue for something that presents like a different type of lifestyle. But I guess y'all just think it's worse because it's they treating us like some. That's why you really think it's worse, because black people do. See, I see where you going.
I wanted to get it fired up. Abu Han felt me. Abu Han was in it. Abu Han tried to kick it off with me. Dak ain't want to go there, man. Phyllis said bonnets are the worst. Yeah, like, what is it about you said ratchet, so I'm gonna just use that word. Yeah. What is it about the ratchet individual that the bonnet, like, what does the ratchet person possess that maybe somebody who's not ratchet doesn't possess that makes the bonnet need to leave the home?
Well, it's typically the other stuff that comes along with the bonnet. To me, the worst thing is the bonnet with the fluffy flip-flops or whatever, and then the leggings. Like, that looks terrible in the airport. I just don't like that. Like, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? It just looks like ugh. Like, you know what I mean? I look at it, I'm being honest. I look at it like, ugh, like that's not it, bro. That's not it. It just looks, it's like, a wild look. Presentable. It's embarrassing, actually. It makes me look bad. It makes me feel like look down at myself, look down at my culture. Like, this is why they look at us the way that they look at us. Like, that's the energy that I feel. Like, why are you doing this to us? Like,
So what's the excuses you've heard for the bonnet? Because I've heard like, oh, I'm trying to preserve my hair.
Oh, black women don't need to make no excuses to your black ass. What you think this is, bro? You think that they need to make an excuse man? Now you trolling, bro.
This one's wild. PJs, bonnet, and Crocs. What a bad attitude.
Yeah, the PJs is the matter of fact. No, the leggings are not as bad as the PJs, and they're usually a bright color, cartoonish. You know what I'm saying? Like with the goofy, fluffy flip flops. Nah,
they be like
the toes crawling out of them. They too small. Like, no, nah, bro. Nah, I'm not with any of them. Leaning, no.
On speakerphone.
On speakerphone. Now you've been listening to Nick too much. You've been listening to Nick Fuentes. I hear.
That what he said?
He says black people, you know, got the phone loud on speaker. He's like,
Oh, looking at everybody like they in the way.
I be telling Maya, I be like, yo, Maya, your phone, like, I'll try to be not be like, yo, you want some headphones? I got some headphones. No, I don't need headphones. And I'm like, bro, like, no, I'm telling you, you need headphones. Like oh God.
Oh man. Okay.
All right. I don't even know. I guess
back on schedule, man. So what video? Yeah, man. What he talking about, bro?
All right, let's get back to it.
But since we're on if someone doesn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view. But since we're on the topic, I think I should take the opportunity to explain why Charlie was under all this pressure, and I think Erica, who I just saw backstage, and whom I love, and who I can tell you is totally committed to continuing the core principle of Charlie's public life, which is the right of every person to express what he believes. That is rooted in Christian faith. We believe people should be able to say what they think because they have souls. They're human beings created by God. They are not slaves. They are not animals. They are not objects. You cannot tell another human being to shut up, even shut up racist, because you don't own him. He is an independent, autonomous person created by God as an individual. Okay, so that's where that belief comes from. That's where free speech comes from. And there's no accident. This is the only country in the world that protects it, because our founding documents were informed, as you just heard so nicely expressed by Michael Knowles, my friend, by people who self-consciously incorporated Christian precepts into their structure of government. So Charlie was committed to that. But the people around him were like, you can't, because it's not that Carlson's wrong. My only point was I don't want a land war with Iran. I got over my skis and said I didn't want another regime change war with Iran. Rather than explain why we should have a regime change war with Iran, which I'd be happy to listen to, he's an anti-Semite. He's an anti-Semite. Which I said, well, obviously that's not true. And Charlie said, I know. And then it just didn't stop. So I continued to say, I'm not an anti-Semite. We don't care what you say. You're lying. You are. So let me just affirm one final time. Not only am I not an anti-Semite, and would say so if I was, I'm not an anti-Semite for a very specific reason. Not because it's unpopular or my donors don't like it. I don't have any donors. I'm not an anti-Semite because anti-Semitism is immoral. In my religion, it is immoral to hate people for how they were born. Period. But that is not a limited principle. That is a universal principle. It applies to every human being on planet Earth. You are prohibited by my religion, which is Christianity, from hating people for how they were born. Because God created them with his spark in his image. Because they have souls. You can disagree with them. You can hate their ideas. You may even find yourself, and I do, I'll confess it, hating them for a moment. But you can't hate everyone who's like them. You can't punish people for crimes they didn't commit. That's the basis of our justice system. That's the basis of Christian ethics. That's why we have what are called human rights. They apply to every human, not just your group, not just my group, but every group, every human, because we don't consider people in terms of the groups to which they belong. We consider them as individuals the way that God created them. So anti-Semitism is not just naughty, it's immoral. And it is precisely as immoral as hating any other group. And that would include other groups in the United States that are hated and have been under attack for decades. And that would include white men who did nothing to become white men. They were born that way. And just because you have a beef with a white man, let's just say Donald Trump, doesn't mean you get to punish all the rest of the white men in the country. And yet, our leaders, not just of our Congress, the executive branch under Biden, but of every major U.S. corporation, of every college in the country, probably except Hillsdale and 2 others, every single one for more than 10 years has engaged in a systematic effort to hurt white men because they are white men. That is racism that is precisely as bad as anti-Semitism, but it is much more widespread and has been so far much more damaging. And my point is, if you said nothing about that, or if you encouraged it by, say, cheering on BLM, which was an anti-white hate group, and said so, then you have no moral standing to lecture me about bias. Period. Because all bias is the same. You are not allowed to hate people based on their bloodline. We do not believe in blood guilt. We reject blood guilt. That's why our justice system is just. That's why our religion is just. Every person has the possibility of transformation. Paul is wandering around, Saul of Tarsus is wandering around murdering Christians. Then he decides, well, I'll walk to Syria. And he's met on the road by Jesus, who changes him, and in one day he becomes the most energetic church planter and apostle of Christianity. In one day. He went from enemy to leader in one day. And that possibility exists for every human being, every human being. That's what our Christian faith tells us. That's also what our eyes tell us. There are no permanent enemies. There cannot be. And I would extend this to even people who attack me from this stage. And I would extend this to even people who attack me from this stage. They'll say, if we agree on something, I'm happy to be friends with you. You may have been mean to me one day. Well, I was mean to you too. That's all right. There is always the possibility that we can recognize we have more in common than divides us and come back together.
I want to stop it there. He's touching on a lot of stuff. My question is, it's like when I hear Tucker speak, like it's almost from an idealistic standpoint. Like that's ideal. And then it's like, is it possible to get there? I believe it's possible to get there. But is there enough calling out the bad behavior to deliver us this idealism? And I think that's where him and Nick have their biggest difference. I saw Abuhan write earlier that he tends to lean more towards Tucker than Nick Fuentes. Depending on the situation, I'm the same way. However, I think that the difference is when it comes to a lot of these other issues, we're able to call out a culture that has been created. We're able to discuss Black culture and say like, hey, you know, this is wrong, this is that. We need to figure out how to stop this Black on Black crime, this hip hop culture, it's influencing the kids in a negative way. We're able to do those things. But I do see Tucker always come up short, it seems to me, when it comes to this whole conversation around anti-Semitism. The reason why people are calling you an anti-Semite is because to me, it's not only the fact that like they're using their fear and control to try to bully people, like their fear of them losing control. So now they turn around and try to bully somebody, and they do see themselves as a chosen people. That's just the culture. It is what it is. And I always think about when I hear Tucker speaking is, you know, he tries to make it only about Israel. He tries to not ever mention like Jewish people and be critical of that because of the things that he's saying. Like, hey, I don't think that anybody should just be punished for the way that they're born. But just because as a Black person, I'm born, you know, you criticizing Black culture, I shouldn't necessarily take offense to that. That influences everybody that it touches, right? So I shouldn't take offense to somebody saying or being able to criticize Black culture. The problem is it seems like certain things are off the table for certain people when it comes to criticism. I think that you should be able to criticize and call certain things out, call certain cancers out, certain ways of thinking out. I just think that Tucker seems to toe the line when it comes to this. And that is where there's a lot of division between him and maybe a lot of the other people that will go where Nick goes. But I do, and then on the flip side, I sit back and I'm like, okay, I get that Tucker doesn't want to bring these things up, or it's like he's trying to kumbaya with everybody. And I don't know what is the best approach, but I'm just trying to observe and just process, you know, what's going on.
I mean, you've told me this before, and I may be just a fool and I can't understand. What's the beef with Tucker?
that he's called out Israel in a very strong way. He's critical of Bibi Netanyahu. I think he regrets the fact that he was supportive of a lot of these previous wars, like the Iraq War, where like 500,000 children were killed. And now he's on a path. I feel like this is just my interpretation. Now he's on a path to right a lot of those previous wrongs and to stand up against the current genocide that's going on and us being controlled by Israel, and Israel perhaps causing us to get involved in a whole lot of wars. And this mindset, this tribalism mindset, I think that's what he's calling out. So what they try to do is, oh, you interviewed Nick Fuentes and you didn't push back as much as we would have liked, so therefore you're an anti-Semite, so we shouldn't value your opinion. They're just trying to silence him. And they're trying to figure out whatever way that they can do so. Like, it doesn't matter how they do it. They're just trying to do it because he's presenting something that shines a flashlight on what's really going on between Israel and America.
And so if you are a non-Jewish individual, I'm assuming you don't have smoke with this guy then.
Well, Ted Cruz is Christian. I guess it depends on your outlook on if you have the Ted Cruz mindset, who he believes that his Christianity and his faith is based on how well he treats Jewish people.
Oh,
so that's why a lot of the Christian evangelicals, they'll call out Candace Owens, they'll call out Tucker Carlson, because they're in bed, like religion, you know what I mean? They still work with their mindset, has them working hand in hand, doing Israel's bidding or doing the bidding of the Jewish people. So that's just my perspective on it. I could be
going there.
Yeah. Huh?
I said, I'm not going there then.
Going where? With them boys?
Yeah, because I'm like, damn, like it, like I'm just like, he don't even come off like Nick Fuentes. I see why motherfuckers don't be fucking with him, because he be turned and to each your own. But I'm like, I don't really never see Tucker in no turn shit. I don't really ever hear him dragging nobody or nothing like that. So when he calling shit out and putting light on shit, and it's like he has no platform, he has no YouTube, nothing.
Who?
Tucker, right?
Oh, yes, he does.
He does have a YouTube.
Tucker got a huge.
He didn't get kicked off of these platforms.
Nah, and Tucker, don't get it. Yeah, don't get it confused. Like Tucker, he's a very good speaker, and he comes across like a nice guy. Not to say that he's not a nice guy, but Tucker is a savage, bro. Like sitting down as like debating, like Tucker. Like you go watch that Ted Cruz interview with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is in his house. In Ted Cruz's house, calling him out, standing on all this stuff, embarrassing him. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, you're absolutely right, though, when it comes to his delivery, because a lot of times that's the biggest difference between Nick and Tucker. It's the delivery. Tucker Carlson is more aware of, cares more about how the audience that he's talking to is going to receive the message. I think he cares more, where Nick is just more so, like, bro, I don't care. Like, some people can receive the message and rock with it. Others don't. I don't care. Like F all. Like, if you don't like it, F you. Like, that's more his mindset, where Tucker's like, look, like, let's be mature about this. We got to figure out a way to get along. So therefore, I don't want to say this about this person in this type of way, because it's going to turn all these people off. They're going to use it against me, but they'll use whatever against you anyway. So
I'm assuming you probably like Tucker then.
I like Tucker a lot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like Tucker a lot. I think that's why I don't like the fact that, like, I think that a lot of times what happens is you end up beefing with the people that you have most in common with. Like, those end up being some of the most vicious beefs, because those are the people that you have, like, you're exchanging conversation and dialogue with, maybe more, or and your fans expect you to work. Like Candace Owens fans, probably that's why they were requesting the Nick Fuentes interview. Because they're like, yo, you got to bring Nick on. Like, y'all think the same way. You know what I mean? But they're different. So when you're very alike with somebody, and then there's like maybe particular differences that people stand on, I think a lot of times those differences will cause you to have, more of a, because it's like the same people picking between, like, all right, Pepsi and Coke. Pepsi and Coke may have more beef than Pepsi and Mountain Dew. You know what I'm saying? Because they're both colas. You know what I'm saying? So people choosing between the two, they're going to have more of a rivalry in a lot of ways. Whereas Pepsi and, orange soda, like it's kind of different. Like that's a different lane. That's not a cola. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it.
Gotcha.
Or the sodas will compete while a soda, Pepsi's not competing with Tropicana juice. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of mindset.
And then they don't feel the need to like work together. Like I don't see how Nick gets beef with Tucker, gets beef with Candace. It's like y'all all kind of be standing on your own square and calling shit out. How the fuck do y'all get to a point where it's just smoke?
Well, and another thing, I gotta, even though I like Tucker, gotta call it out as I see it. He has been it seems like he has caved to some of the pressure where he did the interview with Nick Fuentes. They had a good interview. They got along. Tucker, it's all, all teeth when he's standing next to Nick. You know what I'm saying? And even after the interview, or right after the interview. But then it seemed like in the weeks following where Nick was trying, bro. I'm being real. Like Nick was trying. Like I saw Tucker. I would watch Tucker's show and I'm like, bro, you're doing a little bit too much. You're saying like, oh yeah, well, I sat down with an anti-Semitic, like, and he was calling Nick certain names where it's like, bro, that's going to cause a rift. Like, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to distance yourself from Nick without distancing yourself. But it's driven, in my opinion, out of the influence and pressure that are coming from y'all ops. So it's like, why are you allowing your ops to drive a wedge between you and to make you feel like you have to now say something like, well, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic. Like, you don't have to keep doing that. But people keep feeling the need to constantly tell the world that they're not anti-Semitic. You're feeding into what they're like what they're doing, what Ben Shapiro is doing is working, in my opinion. It's working, in my opinion. So it's like Abuhan said, yeah, I haven't seen what he said about Nick. It's been like little slick stuff where Tucker will sit down with somebody else and do an interview, and he'll say like, yeah, like he'll refer to Nick as an anti-Semite. You know what I mean? Like almost in passing, like, yeah, he's anti-Semitic. He's admitted it. It's fine. Like, but we should have conversations with these people. Almost like, hold up, bro. Like, why do you keep calling me that? Like now you're giving the green light for them to be calling me that. And an anti-Semite, like that's putting a target on your head. When somebody calls you an anti-Semite, like when somebody says that this person is like Hitler, they're already calling you Hitler and referencing you as these things. It puts a target. Now, a lot of people will say Nick may put that target on his, on him himself. But yeah, that's kind of like the back and forth.
Yeah,
would you say on the side, but yeah.
Would you say that like calling somebody a racist holds as much weight, and if so, why or why not?
And I'll address Samir's point as well. Say it again.
If somebody, do you believe that the word racist is similar, and if so, how or how not?
No, because what happens if somebody's racist?
None.
What happens if you're anti-Semitic? You lose your job, you get blackballed, you may not get another job in your industry. You saw how people reacted to a lot of these college universities, kids on campus who are engaging in protests, peaceful protests, a lot of them, against or saying free Palestine or saying whatever they want that's pro-Palestine. And a lot of the Jewish donors that donate to a lot of these schools, they wanted the kids' names. They wanted to see where they were going to end up working, prevent them from getting internships, all this other stuff. You see the lengths that they'll go. Racist, like that. Who's going to be offended by like, oh, okay, you're a racist. Okay.
And then what do you feel as if they should be different? Although they're not clearly though. Do you believe that racism should hold as much weight as being anti-Semitic, or like what?
I think they're two different things. Like you don't have to be for people. Like by definition, anti-Semitic just means you're against a particular group.
Oh, it's not native to specifically to Jewish.
Well, it's Semitic people, but that's the conversation. Like, who are they even Semites? But what I'm saying is being racist, which, if you look up the dictionary definition, it'll say the belief that one race is superior to another. I could not rock with you, but not necessarily be racist. I could not like you, but that doesn't mean that I think I'm better than you. I just don't rock with y'all. I don't like what y'all do. I don't like what your people represent. I don't like the culture of your people. I'm just saying it's two different things. I'm just trying to describe how I perceive the differences in them. Other people may see them differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Samira wrote he wasn't doing that, though. I don't think. He was pointing out where Nick goes wrong with his way of doing stuff. I thought that he was doing it. I remember over and over listening to Tucker and then listening to Nick. Y'all know I listen every show. And Nick was trying his hardest to be friends with Tucker Carlson. Like, that was my objective. Like, I don't like Nick any more than I like Tucker. You know, I don't even look at it like a like thing. You know, I may like some of the things that Nick says more and him being willing to stand on certain things more, but I also like certain things that, you know, Tucker's approach. Like, I like certain things about that approach better. But to me, he was doing that. To me, Tucker is not willing to. It's very simple, bro. If you're making it all about Israel and not at all ever touching on the Israeli culture of believing that you're the chosen people, how can you have a genuine conversation?
Yeah,
everything that Benjamin Netanyahu does, he reminds us that Israel is the only Jewish state. We cannot sit here and deny the fact that just like we can sit out and say there's a problem with Black culture, that a lot of the issues that we're seeing play out are because of the culture of Jewish people. How can you, like, you don't think literally you're saying, I would assume that if there's a certain group of people called the chosen people, that we're all going to assume that those people are held in higher regards than the other people, right? So isn't that the definition of racism?
Say that one more time.
If you consider yourself a chosen person, like this group, they are the chosen people.
Yeah.
Isn't that like acknowledging?
That's what you said.
We act as if that doesn't. So this is what I get frustrated when it comes to Tucker, bro. You can't just criticize Israel, in my opinion, without being honest and upfront about the Jewish culture. You can't.
That's what's driving it.
Yeah, that's what's driving it. So when he avoids that conversation, I think it creates a lot of frustration because nobody wants to be labeled as an anti-Semite.
Oh, and he avoids it because he's Christian.
No, I think he just avoids it because he doesn't want to be labeled that way.
Oh, he don't want to lose them bank accounts, the platform, and all that shit.
I just don't think he wants to be labeled as an anti-Semite for a lot of reasons.
So
if you ask me, I don't want to be labeled anti-Semite. I have Jewish friends. I have this. I have that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people. I don't want to be labeled as hating a particular group. You know what I mean? Or being against an entire group. You don't want to be labeled as that.
Okay.
But you're not anti-Black.
But it's dangerous
because you call out certain issues that you have with the Black culture.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say something about that. So what would we identify as Black on Black crime in a very general description, you would say? And I'm going somewhere.
People are referring to the gun violence and overall violence that the majority of that happens in the majority of violence that occurs in like the inner cities, like a Chicago or Baltimore. That's what I think of comes first to mind when it comes to Black on Black crime. Like within the Black community, Black people committing crime against each other.
And then, so I always hear descriptions of like, well, Black on Black crime happens at a more higher rate than white on white crime. Would we categorize this type of conversations as white on white crime? Like if we were to just put that general label on it, would this be white on white crime?
As far as what would be white on white crime?
Well, when it comes to the wars and like what's going on with how Jewish people identify and what they think and what they're willing to do to protect themselves, and you know what wars they're willing to do, would that be classified as white crime, Black on white crime? I'm just trying to keep the consistent label so I can see what falls into what, because when it's like the topic of religion,
where's the crime? What crime is it? What crime's being committed? That's what I'm asking.
Well, when I think about like just like overall like the wars that are going on,
you could say Russia, Ukraine, but obviously, I mean Palestine, they're not white, so people wouldn't consider that white on white crime. But Russia, Ukraine, I mean, I guess you could look at it like that. But you know, crime typically happens, like you typically commit crime against the people that are within your community who you're around the most. So I think now there are discrepancies between, you know, certain groups, Black on Black compared to white on white. The overall crime may be not as much of a wide gap compared to like the violent crimes, or, you know, I haven't really looked at the numbers in a while, but yeah, I'm sure that there's different. We can look into the numbers though, but I don't see Yeah, I don't see what we're like. I don't see these conversations as white on white crime.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it depends on how you look at it. You want to keep going? Oh wait, we got a. Oh wait, shout out to Silver Sister.
Back again. What
We
up,
got a
man?
question. Appreciate you. Please explain why government forms are still asking our race but not our religion. If Jew is a race, what box do they check on the race? Confused. Maybe other. I don't know. Or white. Like this is the whole thing. This is like another reason why we got to be able to have real conversations. This is why I got annoyed with the historian that I was telling the story about earlier. Like we can't be honest with this stuff. Like, yo, you don't just get to choose your ethnicity. You can choose your religion, but you don't choose your ethnicity, and you don't get to choose whether or not your religion is an ethnicity. You don't get to choose your identity, but that's what's happened. You know, when you win wars, when you have certain leverage, you can put certain things in order that 200, 300, 2,000 years later, people will start, you know, being able to take that and say, oh no, this is my religion. That's not your, this is my race. No, this is not your race. This is not your ethnicity. Bro, that's your religion. That's something that you believe in, bro. You are European, bro. You're Polish. You're this. You're that. Like you're not. No, you like it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. But that's my feelings on it now. That may change. I mean, I can change it with new information. Somebody may present something to me differently, but that's just how people pick and choose. That's just how people, you know, if it benefits me to be white one day, you know, I'll be white. You know, if it benefits me to be Jewish, oh no, I'm a minority like y'all. Like, hey, we go through the same struggle. Remember the Holocaust? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how people try to use it.
That's the game, huh?
Yeah, okay. That's the game. Like when you don't have to say it, that means you can identify as the global power on one end, but then also identify as the most discriminated, hated group ever in the world. Like that's a very opportunistic. Like you have the opportunity now to lean into both. When it suits you best.
Gotcha,
you can be the number one victim or you can be the number one colonizer. You can align with both. You can look at it. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not supposed to say that. But I don't know.
It's very intricate. It's very you know, like I said, I'm learning this stuff as I go with you, but it's very intricate in how a lot of these things have been what they are without question. And to be honest, if you really didn't pay attention to it, you wouldn't even be aware about how much impact it has on society, community, and how, you know, groups of people are seen. You know, I've never thought you never like what Silver Sister's saying, like Jewish versus white, like what do you pick, when do you pick it? But then if you keep it like base level, you're like, why the fuck does that? I don't even care. Like, who cares? But then we see, oh shit, like this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's so many other things that are so fucking intricate that causes so much conflict. And then you start doing the research and you're like, these people lobbying our government, we're their biggest ally. It's just like, well, hold up, bro. This started from you checking a box and picking white or other. Now this shit is all the way into our politics. And it's just like, how did y'all get here? How did y'all move so fast? What kind of bread did y'all have to even get in this type of position? And like, it's so much more complex than anybody wants to stand. And so I never do see, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen anybody speak against what Israel is doing, or is it the Jewish community? What the Jewish community, I sometimes get mixed up who I'm referring to, is doing in Gaza. I haven't seen those people. I haven't seen people that are affiliated with the religion speak out against what their people are doing.
A lot of rabbis have, like there's some groups of rabbis. Matter of fact, there's a bunch of videos where Jewish people are arguing with rabbis because the rabbis are standing up for Palestine, because a lot of people believe their interpretation of the Jewish word, a lot of these rabbis, is that Jewish people aren't supposed to have a home state, like it's supposed to have a homeland. You get what I'm saying? So that's what the rabbis believe. So it's just that there's different interpretations. Yeah, a lot of rabbis are against the Zionists. Yeah, it's funny. You could have rabbis on one end and a lot of these Christian evangelical pastors, and the Christian evangelical pastors, a lot of them are the ones saying, no, Jewish, we need a homeland. Like, we got to stand up for Israel. God commanded me as a Christian to support Israel and Bibi Netanyahu. But then the rabbis are like, nah, we shouldn't have a homeland. We're not supposed to have a homeland. So there are certain people, but it's more so from what I've seen, it's the rabbis. But you can't, but also a lot of the people that you may not even know. Glenn Greenwald, who you brought up the other day. He's Jewish. Dave Smith, he's Jewish. You know, so there are a lot of Jewish people. Max Blumenthal, he's Jewish. There are a lot of Jewish people that do speak out against it, but it's more so, I see it more along the lines of the influencers. Like, you don't see a lot of people, like I don't run into a lot of Jewish people in my life that would say, oh, nah, we got to free Palestine, or this is ridiculous what's going on, this genocide. I don't run into a lot of people that say that, but I do see influencers who will call it out, like a Norman Finkelstein, a historian. Like I see people on those levels, and perhaps they're given a platform largely like a Dave Smith because he is a Jewish person that will call out Jewish people. So maybe it's easier to get a platform, or those people are more in front of us because they don't represent the dominant view of that culture.
And tell me this, what stops Israel, or which one am I supposed to be saying?
And this is all just my opinion. Just to be clear. Like BK is just asking, I'm just giving my opinion on this stuff.
Okay. And because of what Hamas has done, obviously is what caused this huge conflict in the Middle East, right? What stops them from just setting up shop and going to like find the people that they say attack them?
You're saying what stops Israel?
Yeah, like what stops Israel for just like kind of like we went and we like, I'm assuming like that's how we caught like Osama bin Laden. Like we set up a shop, we set up a station, and our focus is to go find them people, them boys who was causing all the bullshit.
Well, it depends on who you listen to. They'll tell you that that's exactly what they're doing, but they'll then say that because Hamas is using the people as human shields, or they're hiding in certain areas where they're telling Palestinians, hey, you need to evacuate this area. They're saying that Hamas isn't letting the people leave, you know, or Hamas is setting up shops with the tunnels, you know, and the hospitals. Nobody knows what to believe. They won't let journalists in. And another people who it's believed that Israel has targeted are a lot of the journalists. So a lot of the journalists that are reporting things that they may either see as pro-Palestine or just against the agenda that Israel wants to push. There's been I think 200 journalists killed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there's been I think it's closer to 250, but I haven't looked at the numbers a few days ago. But there's been a whole lot of journalists that have been killed.
Just trying to report the news.
Right. So we don't know how many people have died. Like I think the numbers that we go off of, it's like we've been seeing all this death and destruction happen consistently. Right. We just had, you know, more small ceasefires, and up until recently, we didn't have like a true ceasefire. So what I'm looking at is I'm like, I'm seeing the destruction tolls go up, but it seems like they're still holding on to the same numbers that were reporting like a couple of years ago. So a lot of people are speculating that the numbers can be significantly greater than the 30 that was initially given to us, and the 70,000, I think, where a lot of people have landed on. I think that's where Trump's administration has landed on. A lot of people, I would assume that it's a lot more than that. Like Abu Han, you see Abu Han said 300,000 total is the estimate. So
Israel really tapped. So Israel, I know this much, like Israel used that situation to really go step on and really just go extra.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like you're assuming, like, and I should have said this, your question almost assumes that they only want to target a certain people. Like they only want to target Hamas leadership. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And this is why we should watch that video on the Amalekites. When you hear the people that are in the Israeli government and Bibi Netanyahu, people in high places referencing the Palestinians as the Amalekites, that's not saying to go just attack the people that committed the crime. Like Tucker Carlson is saying, like, you shouldn't be held responsible for crimes that you didn't commit. Don't hold me responsible for something that somebody else who looks like me did. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening over there. So
and he being extra to really just splash on the whole, like he just trying to.
This is look. I'm gonna send you. Look, when you everybody's and I should probably look at it again. This clean break memo. So Bibi Netanyahu and Israeli leadership, they wrote something about 20-something years ago. They actually had Jewish people, I believe they were Israelis, who were working in the American government, construct this clean break memo. And it was in a strategy to achieve this greater Israel project, where they would start different wars with different people in that region, and which would lead to regime change, which would lead to them growing this greater Israel project. So Israel growing and having more and more land. It's the clean break memo. A lot of it's like a lot of these other countries. You know, look at America. America didn't just want to stay as the 13 colonies. They wanted to continually expand, right? So it's very similar to what this clean break memo strategy suggests. And what's funny is that letter that was written, or that clean break memo that was written 20-something years ago, it's now you're seeing a lot of these things either have played out, or you see Israel trying to get America to support us in carrying out a lot of those things.
And so Israel can't run this play without America?
They can't run this play without an America. I don't know if it's without America, because if America decides to no longer support Israel, I think Israel will just do a similar deal with another country. So they can't do it without a America.
They need
America.
somebody backing
They need,
them.
they need somebody backing them and keeping the other countries in the region at bay, so they can pretty much do whatever they please.
And so basically where Israel is at, Israel's goal, it sounds like Bibi and, you know, all the other politicians, they want Israel to go from this to this as far as how big the land is. Like the
state. That's what it's always been.
Okay, so they want to keep expanding. And the reasoning for that is why? Or like, is it where they live too small, or like, do they not have enough space for condos? Like, what's the problem?
They feel like they're surrounded by enemies. So the more land, you know, as they take more land, they're also taken away from their enemies that want to kill them based on, you know, what they say. So I think it's more of a power play. It's just a power play. It's overall like, I'll be more powerful. I'll be more protected. I'll have more land. I'll have a bigger economy. There's a lot that goes into it. Land is the most limited, like, valued resource, right?
It's just so interesting because in 2025, like, I guess in our lifetime, we've never really personally seen something go from this to this. So I guess
that's a good, you're right. We haven't seen the true colonization process.
Yeah, but we've never seen how you take this and go new world, or what that looks like, what colonizing looks like, et cetera, et cetera. And so I guess this is how things became what they are, because if you're telling me that they're this big and they want to be this big, and what they're willing to do to become that way, and who they're willing to kill to do that, then I guess it puts it in retrospect what has always been done to obtain more land and increase your footprint in society or the world as a whole.
Right.
Holy. Okay.
So I mean, that's all this stuff is.
Okay.
That's all this stuff is. Phyllis said, expand on why Bibi wants to go after Iran. I guess various reasons. You know, they're convinced that Iran is going to build a nuclear weapon. I think it's the same reason for a lot of other, you know, it's the power play. It's controlling the region. You know, Iran, they want to go after the people that they believe are their biggest threats to accomplishing what they want to accomplish. You know, achieving this greater Israel project.
Oh,
so that's why they want to disarm Iran. That's why they wanted us to go in there, and because Saddam Hussein was an enemy of them. So they wanted us to go in there and attack Iraq. The more instability in the rest of these countries, the greater the opportunity in Israel in growing that greater Israel project. And Abuhan mentioned, take a look at the Nakba. Yeah, after the show, take a look at what the Nakba was, with all the people there, you know, having to leave, and what that looked like. Because obviously 80 years ago, that the makeup of the people in that land was totally different. It was all Palestinians.
That's it.
80, 90 years ago, whatever it was. I mean, there was a very small percentage based on my research of the Jewish people that currently occupy.
Damn. Okay. So they just want to expand the shit out there. So you telling me all this? So the religion don't really have nothing to do with it. It's just a vehicle. Because if he just wants more land and expand, then that's just more of like an economics thing than it would be religion, right? He just fuels it through religion to be able to justify
You're
why.
saying like is religion the problem? Like that's what it goes. Like that's what the conversation goes.
Well, because what I'm taking away from this is like you're saying like, yeah, they want to turn Israel from here to here, and I'm like, well, that's not a religion thing. So why is the conversation of religion always in the conversation?
Yeah, and something that somebody also brought up is that what is it, the Suez Canal? So a lot of the ships go through that particular region as well. So you get to control a lot of the import exports. All of this, it's a power play.
It's a power, money, economics play.
Yeah,
so this has nothing
you guys
to do
feel free to chime in. Like if there's anything that I'm missing, like I said, this is just my understanding of it. Like please chime in, and you guys give your opinions. I see Critical wrote, Iran is out of water. Iran out of water, threat to none. And it's a perceived threat as far as with Israel, because, a lot of people may believe, what's a threat? If just another country has the same weapons that I have, is that a threat? Like, why should I be able to have weapons that the other country doesn't have? You know what I'm saying? So is that really a threat, or is that more balance? I don't know.
Okay, Abu Han kind of answered. So it's not mostly no, it's mostly politically, but pro-Zionists try to make it religion problem so they can pull out the Islamic terrorist card.
Yeah, well, that's all this stuff. So that's to your question and to Abu Han's point. That's all this stuff is. Like people don't the people that even I don't even think the people that like were the main people responsible for establishing Israel. I don't even think that they were like super religious Jewish people. But I got to look that up. So I probably shouldn't have mentioned that without looking it up. But, all this stuff is just used. It doesn't matter that you're black. Like, it's just going to be used against you. Like, they just use whatever needs to be used in order to rationalize and justify why they're doing certain things.
To the masses at that.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, this is about Jewish. Yeah. Well, God commanded in the Bible that we have this land. Okay. So, yeah, we're Jewish. So we'll lean into the racial aspect of it. It's across the board. People just use everything is just a power play, divide and conquer, the whole tribalism. It's just used in different ways to establish different goals at different times, bro.
He said the guy who invented Zionism was an atheist. You're right, Dad.
Right. Yeah. That's so. A lot of this stuff, like I remember, recall it, like remember certain aspects of it, but it's a lot, bro. This stuff is a lot.
Damn.
This stuff is a lot. Like this is just through watching a lot of videos, maybe reading, doing a little bit of observing. But
so they just use anything to expand the land. And so they just able to get everybody on board.
Yeah.
When they do it like this, when they package it in this stimulus package called religion, and they get you believing that this, that, and the third, and we supposed to have this, that, and the third, then it leads to a place where everything on this damn planet is justified.
Right.
Damn, that's nasty work, bro. To package it in the religion is crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Like that, but what that does scare me, what scares me about that, when people are able to just package it up in the religion, that conversation, regardless of what you believe in, is that for people to believe, like what's scary to me is that the same people that are believing in whatever they believe in as religion.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. I can hear you.
Yeah. The same people that are going to believe in whatever they're believing because of religion and principles, et cetera, et cetera. There's no way the people that use religion for monetary gain, power, more land are going to the same place as somebody who breaks a commandment or a cardinal law within the religion.
Well, I guess that's something that we'll have to wait and see.
That's scary work, bro. Because if you're telling me the people on the tippity top don't even respect the religion to not utilize it in this manner, bro, that's a different type of I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And a lot of this stuff, bro, it's all just, with jersey. You go to gym class, you may throw on this jersey today, you throw on another jersey. Like all this stuff is just jerseys, bro. Like these descriptions of people, Jewish this, Jewish that. I don't even think it's about like the people that are using religion in the worst ways. The people that are using religion in the worst ways, I don't think it's even about the religion to them. Like what happens is the people that use it in the worst way typically
get the people that genuinely want to believe in it for the right reasons to believe in everything that they believe in, to go along with everything that they do. So therefore, they'll kind of convince the people to like be okay with the evil and obvious things that they're doing, like that are evil and obviously against the commandments, but they're just more attached to the religion. So they see it as a tribal. So it's always going to be us versus them. And unfortunately, there's different things in a lot of these scriptures where you can interpret them or misinterpret them conveniently to suit whatever negative agenda that you have.
See, it's no different than Bloods and Crips when it's all boils down to it, except they're balling on a whole different level. They're looking for gold chains.
Yeah, I mean, there's Bloods, Crips. How many different sets of Bloods and Crips there are? And they all believe in different things. They may have some common ground, but they
be fighting amongst each other. Yeah, bro,
it's all just. This is where I think where it circles back to, and maybe we could wrap it up with this is, it always just goes back to male leadership, bro. To men as leaders, there's certain men that are going to stand on principles, whether they got a 1,000 soldiers behind them or if it's just them. And there's other people that, feel comfortable with certain numbers behind them committing unjust, and a lot of it's being led maybe by a select few, but men don't just follow anything, bro, when it directly contradicts your principles and morals. But that's the place that a lot of us have landed across the board. All of these problems that we discussed, at some point, a man could shut it down. A man could change the standard. A man could step in any of these ways and lead. But it's usually some type of compromise that's occurring that rationalizes them turning a blind eye or leaning into whatever demonic activity that is to gain power.
Somebody brings some bread, some money, some females, some clout, some power, and then all of a sudden, the shit is a slippery slope. And then here we have today, where everything is just out of whack.
Yeah, and then so Phyllis brought up a great point. This is where all the manipulation and brainwashing comes in. Like when you hear that this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values, like they'll try to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're a team. But the team is we're only a team if we have a Ted Cruz mindset. Like Tucker's not on my team, but Ted Cruz is on my team because Ted Cruz is a Christian who said, oh yeah, my Bible tells me to worship Israel and be good to Israel. So that's what I have to do in order to get into heaven. Meanwhile, Jewish people don't value, respect anything about Jesus. Well, I'm not going to say anything about Jesus, but they don't hold Jesus in the high regards that Ted Cruz seems to hold Jewish people in. Like, this is your savior. Like, how do you look at Jesus as your God? Like, that's your God and savior. And this other group of people, they're pretty much like, isn't that antichrist when you're not acknowledging that Christ is the savior, that Christ is God? But then, so you'll hear Ben Shapiro and a lot of these neocons and pro-Israel Zionists laughing and mocking the Christian religion. But they also rely on a lot of Christians to fight their wars and to support them in the battles that they fight, because what is America? America was founded on Christian values, not Judeo-Christian values. It's founded on Christian values. And the fact that you can even merge the two, to me, that's a problem that I have with a lot of the Bible. Because you have the Old Testament, which pretty much is the Torah, the Jewish scripture. And then you have the New Testament, which is supposed to be Jesus's revelation. And people can correct me if I'm wrong, but the two contradict each other because it's two totally different viewpoints. Like Jesus was literally standing up against the Old Testament, to my understanding. Like he was standing up against that. But then when you merge it into one book, it's like, I don't even know what this is about. A lot of people will say, well, that's to show the growth in it. I understand, but it does present a lot of contradictions, especially when people may not even understand why there's an Old Testament, why there's a New Testament, and what that represents as far as the New Testament being. A lot of Christians, I don't even think understand that. You know what I'm saying? So then when we have a lot of these conversations, it almost makes them look even more hypocritical because there may just be a lack of understanding. There may be a purpose for the Old Testament being there, but it hasn't been explained to us in a way where it makes sense, in my opinion. And then when you also add in the whole Judeo-Christian mindset, like that's something that Jewish people will say, but they're not factoring in. They don't look at Christians as being at all in partnership with anything that they're doing unless they support Zionism. That's my understanding of it. You know, now everybody's experience may be different, but I think that Ben Shapiro laughs whenever he hears a Christian person say Judeo-Christian values and that America was founded on Judeo-Christian values. I think that those Zionists laugh. And we've heard we act like we haven't heard Bibi Netanyahu like in hidden cameras talk about America like, yeah, we control the Americans. They'll do everything that we say. That's where, like, that's the mindset, bro.
That's the energy.
We want to look at what Diddy said behind closed doors and hold him to that standard. But look at what Bibi Netanyahu said behind closed doors. He does not rock with America. He uses America, and Americans know. Now Americans know. The American politicians always knew. That's why they got to do the most to sell them on stuff. That's why they got to give them money to sell them a particular product, right? And to get them to be the salespeople for their product. So, but we got to go. We getting ready to jump out of here, get on the road.
Oh, yeah, you got to go.
Celebrate Mom's birthday. But hopefully we'll continue the convo. We can even tap in. Y'all know we keep it open. If let me put the Discord in the chat so we can obviously continue the convos on there. And then if we decide to jump on over the weekend, we'll definitely let y'all know. So look out for your alerts. Look out for your alerts. Let me copy that link, put that in here, and we're gonna get ready. Do us a favor, like, subscribe. We're getting ready to get into this breath work. Oh man, it's not letting me copy. All right, hold up. I gotta do it a different way. We're getting ready to get into our breath work, so make sure that you like. This is the most important part of the show, especially as we're having a lot of these heavy conversations. We got to make sure that we're staying on point, staying balanced, staying centered, and not getting too extreme in one way or another. Let me see if that text came through. I had to set it this way. All right, copy, paste. Discord is in the chat. Let me bring that up on the screen. All right, so tap into the Discord, join, and introduce yourself. Finn and Critical, they do an amazing job. And Steve of just running Discord, really, because I don't know anything about it. BK is a little bit more active than me. I'm going to make it my business to get more engaged in it over the weekend. So I'll make sure that I'm tapping in, showing y'all all the dope stuff we're doing for Mom's birthday. But yeah, so let's get into this breath work. We're going to do our box breathing. Unless you want to go ahead and get it, BK. You did it faster.
Yeah, just I don't remember it.
We got a 4 second.
I'm at the wrong airport.
I'm at the wrong airport. All right, so we got a 4 second box breathing. It starts off with a 4 second inhale, intentionally making sure that we're bringing in all the positive energy. Then we're going to do a 4 second hold. We're going to do a 4 second exhale, releasing all the negative energy. And then where BK messed up on yesterday, we're going to do a 4 second hold on that and not get right into the inhale. But it's all good. It was his first time. It's all good, Clay. But and it did go faster, so I was appreciative of it. But let's get into this 4 second inhale. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes or do whatever you choose. But let's make sure that we're being very intentional. And let's also remind ourselves that we set out every week on Sundays and Mondays to make this our greatest week ever. So if we got the opportunity to make that come to fruition, let's lean into it. So with that being said, we'll do our 4 second inhale and hold up. Abuan, bro, you're amazing, man. Happy B-Day, Dak's mom. I got to start. BK, take a note. Talk about moms a lot in the super chat. Make note of that. Yeah, all right, we good. No, I'm just messing with y'all. All right, we got a 4 second inhale.
My mom's birthday is Monday.
Your mom's, hi, BK's mom's birthday is Monday. All right, 4 second inhale. Ready, begin. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale positive. Hold. Exhale the negative. Hold. Inhale that positive energy. Hold. Release the negative. Hold. Keep holding. We're getting ready to get into our last cycle, so let's be very intentional. Inhale that positive energy. Ready, begin. Hold. Keep holding. We're getting ready to release the last bit. Find it wherever it is and get it up out your system. Release. Hold. All right, Woosah, y'all know what we come here to do. Elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, raising our standards to become the best leaders we can become and to grow into the people that we need to grow into in order to accomplish these amazing goals that we set up for ourselves. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Let's get to the bag, all right? That's going to allow us to focus on all the things that we do throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month that are ultimately going to shape what becomes our impact on this world that we like to call our personal legend, all right? To do so, we need to make sure that we got the proper guidance, compass, directions, North Star, guardrails, whatever it is that you want to call it. And that's going to be largely built on the things that we focus on the most. So the things that I like to focus on: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. And of course, got to add that balance. I think I got through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, you usually make that shit long as hell. So that was definitely some good progress. Shout out to that, y'all. Shout out to that.
Yo, finish us out, Glay, man.
Yeah, man. Great convo, great week, man. Great topics, great involvement in the community. You know, I'm learning, and I'm sure as well as you all are, and it takes a village. So we definitely appreciate all y'all. Some of y'all show up and y'all got perfect attendance. So shout out to y'all. Definitely like, subscribe. And we are looking to just finalizing a few more things before we slide to, provide more information on different platforms like we spoke about, Patreon and Rumble, things of that nature. So definitely be on the lookout for these things. We'll definitely be active in the chat or on Discord. But outside of that, man, for the new people, we love having y'all. Shout out to Abuhan, PT Salty. I'm always seeing you drop in there. Unk in the building, AMJ in the building. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Phyllis in San Diego, like, we appreciate y'all, man. So we'll be tuning in on Monday, 8 o'clock sharp, 8:05, once the countdown's wrapped. And then, because that's what you did today, by the way, Glay.
Well, if we really want to be honest, you weren't here at 7:55.
I wasn't, but I was.
Yeah, I'm about to say I was on. But
I knew you wasn't going to kick off till 8.
Now you knew I wasn't going to be on.
So I was like, yo, let me go take a shower. I know he ain't going to.
All right, if I'm being totally honest, I got out the shower and I was in front of the computer around like 7:57, and I lied. I got on. I was like, "Oh, BK not even on. I'm gonna act like here like 7:50." Yeah.
Try to act like you was already in motion.
I'm like, he came on. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll have a ton on Monday. With everything that's going to transpire for the next couple of days. With politics and hot topics and all this shit, we're gonna have plenty going in next week. And next week is Christmas. So if you celebrate Christmas, you know what? I can't. Never mind, man. Like, that's it. I don't know what everybody celebrates. I don't want to be stepping on nobody. Bro. Never mind, bro. I was gonna say, never mind, man. Whatever you enjoy. New Year's is on the way. Get excited for that, y'all.
God. You anti-Christian, you anti-Zion.
I ain't trying to spark up. I ain't trying to spark up nothing for nobody to be like, oh, see, they got
happy holidays. He ain't say happy Hanukkah. That
I ain't celebrating nobody.
All right, bro.
Happy New Year.
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all know what it is. We'll see y'all Monday, 8:05, 8 a.m. somewhere there. Y'all have a good one. Glad you off camera already? Come on, baby.
Yeah, I like to hit that joint so I can
brother, have me out here. Yeah, we'll see y'all soon. Ew.